Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mind Over Madness podcast with myself and Sean.
I know.
Obviously, there was no podcast last week. That's my fault.
Your fault.
Forgot everything. Left it all in my house. So yes, blame this disgusting.
But it's all right. A little bit of a break makes the heart grow fonder, right?
It does, right? It does. I missed this last week, so it'd be nice to do this again. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Lot of news. Some interesting news things I think that have been going on this week. So hopefully, and we've got 2 weeks worth. I don't think I'm gonna get through 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I've got 2 weeks worth, but I've got a bit of an amount.
I've got like a few, not a lot.
As with the previous ones, it'll probably be like a bit concise.
Yeah.
But that is good. Quality over quantity is what I'll say.
Exactly.
And I've been itching to do this one as I've been hassling you. Like, come on, move it. I want to do it. So obviously it's been missed on all sides.
Yes, it has been. I have definitely missed this.
Well, shall we get straight into it then?
Yes, of course. We'll do what we always do. We have our news, then our gaming, then our movies, TVs, Netflix, and then we have our random tings at the end, which has become a staple now.
Yes.
I need to make like a cut card for everything, so it's like new, like the thing flashes on news and stuff like that. I don't know.
A little jingle. Lockdown.
Do that. It's awful. But yeah, okay, we'll start with news stuff. What you got on the agenda, my good sir?
Well, obviously we're in the final steps. One of the final steps of easing the lockdown in England anyway. They've opened casinos, bowling alleys, soft play areas. Weddings can go ahead with up to 30 people and stuff like that. So I suppose that's all right. I mean, putting aside the whole local lockdown aspect of what they're trying to do here, in general, things are getting less restricted. So like it's almost like coming to the end of it. I mean, I thought we'd come into the end of it as soon as they announced easing a few weeks ago, but whatever. The new normal is upon us.
It is.
So yeah, easing of restrictions. Will you be going? I don't know what it is, what the deal is in Wales, to be honest.
I think we're pretty much on the same level field. I think. I didn't actually look anything into the lockdown stuff. I've kind of tried to avoid it, to be honest. I think it's mostly just common sense, but I'm fairly certain. Someone will be talking about later. Obviously, I got my tattoos done. So I mean, if you can get tattoos in your head and stuff, I imagine that they're not going to be far behind.
Oh yeah, you can get your brows done from today, Saturday, which you'll be watching this on Sunday, but it's Saturday.
There you go. You can go and get your eyebrows on fleek.
Yes. My monobrow sorted out.
Oh God, don't get rid of it. It's beautiful. But yeah, I'm not too sure on what the Wales thing is, but again, I think they're pretty much on the same level as England.
Yeah, it's usually the same level or like a week or two behind.
Normally.
So there's a lot of European countries on the quarantine lists. Like, it seems to be going that whack-a-mole method with European countries now. So obviously France is like the next one. They did have Spain, and they're like, you could have to quarantine when you get back from there. So enjoy your holidays, but you're in strict not leaving the house when you get back.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of feels a bit half-assed. Like, will anyone actually do that?
Yeah. I get you. I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it seems a bit odd that they've again. And we touched on this before, but it was like they should have done that in the first place. Don't know why they didn't.
From anywhere.
I mean, I get why they've done it now. It's like, oh, well, we're trying to keep it controlled. The more limitations we put on, the better. But, so, Boris, will you be quarantining when you come back from Scotland, or...?
Scotland, I suppose, is on the list of not having to quarantine.
It's like, because they're so close together, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's another part of the country?
So stupid, because, like, UK has the benefit of being an island, so we can stop people coming here. And spreading the disease around. So I don't know why we didn't take advantage of that right at the start. It's like 3 months in. Oh yeah, we've got this thing called borders.
Yeah. Man. I don't get it. It's such a strange one to me, because I understand it's important, but then why not just do it with everywhere anyway, regardless of how many cases or whatever they have? do it with everywhere or don't do it at all. Well,
Yeah.
definitely don't do it at all. That needs to happen. But don't just hand pick a few that you think are going to be risks. You know, do it with everything. Why not? Just, I know it might be a pain in the ass, but people shouldn't be going on holiday right now anyway.
I know. It's like, come on, you can give it a rest for 1 year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's loads of lovely places in this country to go to.
Exactly. Just stay in your region. You know.
Yeah. There's loads of lovely places. Like, stay in your region, or don't travel too far, but like get our economy going again. Our tourism, with just at home tourism.
Yeah. I mean, I've been looking at like, because I was curious, so I had a look into like kind of caravan holidays and stuff like when I went last year in November. And I mean, stuff is still it's cheaper than ever. Like some places, obviously, I expect are going to be like super high priced and whatever. But 1, you're out of season. 2, pandemic, and 3, they just want people to visit, so it keeps like the tourism up. Like just go somewhere close to a caravan holiday. I think Boris went camping. I think that's what he's doing.
Glamping, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a strange one to me, but people are going to do what they're going to do, I guess.
Yeah. On a slightly different note, Russia claims to have the first coronavirus vaccine. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are taking that seriously, including me. I don't know. I don't quite believe them for some reason.
Do you know what? I believe they may. I don't. Right, I'll say this much. They might have something, but they certainly haven't gone through the proper professional channels and everything to make sure it works and it's not dangerous. I think there was like, I haven't got any like screenshots of it or anything, but I did read something on how, I don't know if it was WHO or what like big organization it was, but they were like, they've skipped like phase 2 and phase 3 of testing. Like,
straight to human trials.
Yeah, it's like, that makes no sense. How can they say that it works if they've not even tested it to prove it? And plus, it's Putin. He'll say anything.
Putin.
He's a man that sits on a horse with a top off because he thinks he's hard. I mean, probably is
to show like morale and stuff.
He probably is a tough bastard. I mean, he was in like, wasn't it like the top military of Russia or something for a long time?
Yeah. It's kind of a historic thing to do to show the strength of the leadership in Russia, because they've all had their statues and whatnot and pictures.
Although I thought in Russia it was the horse that rides you, but there we go.
Vodka buys you.
Vodka drinks you.
Human vodka. But yeah, I'm not too convinced on this. Like, surely if they've got, as you say, they will have skipped loads of phases straight to human trials. And Putin was like, my daughter showed symptoms, and we tested the vaccine on her, and it worked. Right. Okay. So
one person out of millions, that's a great start, Putin.
I know. So if it worked for his daughter, then it works for everyone.
That makes no sense.
So I'm not too convinced on that one, but we'll see how it goes.
I think, to be honest, what scares me more about that is, let's face it, him and Trump are pretty close. And is Trump going to end up being like, yes, we'll take it because, I want an excuse to be an idiot. So that's kind of what worries me, I guess. I know the UK, I believe the UK damned it and said, that's ridiculous, you won't have one yet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the UK kind of turned away. Nah, we're not interested. No.
Yeah, I trust our scientists and medical professionals a bit more than those ones.
Yeah. I feel like Putin may have just gone, have this. You don't have to worry about phase 2 and phase. Don't worry. Just push it out.
Yeah. It's just like pure like vodka shots. It works.
It'll make
puts hairs on your chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, mine's a link.
Oh, it's
but yeah, have you got anything else on like kind of lockdown stuff?
I don't know, let me double check my shiznit here, because I did have something I will quickly touch on. The website will be linked below, and it's just a BBC News thing, but you can kind of put like your area code and stuff in, so you can kind of see stuff about the pandemic, how many cases there have been, and apparently where I am in Bridgend, there's been 3 cases per 100,000 people in the last week, from the 4th of August to the 10th of August. And you can see like the total cases and related deaths in that area and stuff. So if you're
Yeah.
interested, I'd highly recommend doing that. It kind of shows how dangerous your area is. It's probably important to know that.
Yeah, for my area, it's only 9 people, and we're in local lockdown, so
Mad.
because
Yeah,
we've been bunched in with the other areas in the
Manchester.
region.
As
Yes,
one whole
you are all under this lockdown.
which is insane, but not surprising.
Well, I mean, I don't think anything's being enforced with that. They're just like leaving it to the local councils for that. Like,
Yeah.
the government isn't really stepping in for that. So I don't think many people are listening to that, to be honest.
Yeah. I will say this much. We did touch on, obviously, Boris being on holiday currently, camping with his lovely fiancée and their newborn child. But there was a headline that read, Boris Johnson's inability to cook means camping holiday in Scotland is doomed, claims the Prime Minister's ex. It's just drama crap, basically. But I thought that was quite entertaining, so I thought I'd throw it in there.
It's quite funny.
But yeah, the article will be down below. If you want to go check that out, feel free. I don't know why you would want to read it, but it is quite amusing. Admittedly, I did read through it.
I read something about like his daily diet consists of all the British foods like cheese and pickle sandwiches and sausages and mash and stuff.
Cheese and pickle sandwiches.
So British. Ploughman's lunch.
Yeah, no, mental.
I
Absolutely.
suppose the argument would be, should he have gone on holiday right now?
I mean, I guess they're camping, so they couldn't be further away from people if they tried, unless they're on like a giant site and everything like that, which I don't think so. But I think there was like a comparison to his last year's holiday when they went away, when they were like at like a £15,000 like private island or something last year. So that, for some reason that was being compared. People think that his current partner is a little bit of the high life person, so they feel like camping might not be her thing. Can you just imagine her sitting there grumpy, where's all the posh stuff, and Boris is like, come on, we've got to cook the sausages, they must be good, they have to be fried.
Have you got the mash?
Have you got the mashed potato? We're gonna have bangers and mash tonight.
I can't really imagine him camping and doing all the like foraging for like wood and stuff.
No, he's taking people on holiday with him who are going to do that for him.
Camping the easy way.
Boris, you're simple. Just sit there and shut up. We'll do all the work for you.
He won't be eating bugs and taking a set shower outside. I think.
Yeah, he certainly won't be doing a Ray Mears. That's for damn sure. But this was another article that we'll go on to. It's kind of linked with coronavirus, but also schools and stuff, which was Trump pushes for schools to reopen as the US sees the deadliest COVID day since May. Donald Trump has vowed to push ahead with the reopening of America's schools, despite the US suffering nearly 1,500 coronavirus-related deaths on Wednesday, the highest number in a single day for 3 months. A total of 1,499 deaths from COVID-19 were reported across the country, according to Johns Hopkins University data. The US continues to lead the world in infections and deaths, with nearly 5.2 million people having contracted the virus and more than 166,000 having died since the pandemic started. Something says that you should put the brakes on, Trump.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a bit like this country. It's like schools will go back in September whether there's deadly virus around or not, because it's like priority one for the kids getting their education, and they don't want to miss out on another year of,
it's mad.
Getting that education. So they're putting the kids at the high priority list.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I agree with that or not, but I suppose if pubs are open, then kids can go back.
There was a little bit more on this article that I'll read. Again, down below, go read it all. We don't read all through the articles. That would be boring. And Sean would be sitting there like, just please, end it. End it. But yeah, polling has shown that most American parents are wary of sending children... Oh, my alarm's gone off, that's great. Of sending children back to school with the pandemic still raging, with the vast majority favouring at least some online learning in places of standard classes. The US response to the pandemic, however, has been blighted by a muddled governmental approach and contradictory actions by various institutions. That's a lot of big words for me. Over the past week, a sheriff in a central Florida COVID hotspot banned his officers from wearing protective face masks, while in California, a megachurch defied state orders by holding a Sunday service for thousands of people. I don't see this pandemic going away anytime soon with that level of stupidity.
Yeah. I mean, America is just like everything that went on before is still going on, but they're just wearing masks now because it's like, it's cool to wear a mask, and and a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I mean, right, okay. Clarification. I am not a religious person. I know, who would have guessed it. But I get why religion is important to people having services and stuff like that, but really, you're going to break the law to have a service for thousands of people where you could be transmitting the virus.
Yeah. I mean, these places can be open for, private prayer and stuff like that, but they don't have to hold services and stuff.
Do what they did before. Have or not what they did before, but, kind of what it was the same for, funerals and things like that. Hold, a small amount of people, or just an entire family or something. If they want to do a service or something, just do a mini service or something for a family or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why is that so difficult for people just to be like, no, I must be standing with 1,000 strangers who are coughing on me. I do not approve otherwise.
That's just the same argument about protests, I suppose. But everyone has a right to protest.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, the only difference I would say between the protests and that is that with the protests, at least they're outside. And it's less likely that it was... I mean, it's still not a good thing. It's still not a good thing. I understand protests have to happen, but not right now. Come on. But, at least they were outside. These services are thousands of people crammed into one tiny space, It's like that picture. I'll see if I can find it and put it on screen. But that picture of, all the students in school all crammed into, one tiny hallway. And they're like...
All it takes is one cough to spread it to about 100 people.
Yeah, and especially if you're in that close proximity, let's say within a 2-meter radius, you've got... easily, you could fit 2 people within 2 meters of you, right? So imagine that's all the way around you. Let's say a rough estimate of 12 people around you. One person coughs. That's it. 12 new infections. Then they all cough, so on and so forth.
With services, it's all we're all a community spirit. Shake hands with everyone. Hug the pastor.
hug the man. That's it. Hug him. Let him bless you, child. Let him bless you. I don't know. I mean, again,
I'd be surprised if you did the blood and
have some of this cheap wine.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, no disrespect to any religious folk out there, but I do think it's a bit silly to be doing stuff like that right now. Give it time. Just let it calm down, and then you can do stuff. The next thing was actually on what you said, which is obviously talking about reopening schools and stuff. But I found this article and I found it really scary and interesting. So here we go. The UK could go back into full lockdown next month, warns top former government scientist. Oh dear. The UK may go back into a national lockdown next month, a former chief scientific advisor to the government has warned. Sir David King said the PM must act immediately to get it right or face a second wave of COVID-19 infection. He also warned that the nation is nowhere near the safe reopening of schools next month. He said, "We need a proper test and trace system by September, otherwise full school opening will put us right back." He said the R rate of infection number is expected to rise by about 0.5 with all schools open. On Friday, government figures showed the national rate is between 0.8 and 1, the tipping point as infections rise again. "We need a proper test and trace system by September," said Sir David King. "Otherwise, I'm sure school opening will put us right back. We will see the government backing lockdown, and yes, I do think this could happen nationally. Tighter lockdown restrictions and social distancing measures in the US, Hong Kong, and the Philippines and other countries are being reimposed. The Academy of Medical Sciences has estimated up to 120,000 people here could die of COVID-19 this winter in the UK." And that's just, by the way, I highly recommend people go and read this specific article if you live in the UK, because there is so much more information on it. I just didn't want to read it all on here, but scary. The rate went down to 0.5 and it's back up to 0.1 or 1. And that's just with opening pubs and things like that. Can you imagine schools as well? Jesus!
Yeah, and they're we'll slam the brakes on if there's any rise in infections, but it seems like there is, but still going ahead with the opening anyway. Just see what happens.
I cannot understand what goes through this man's head. How, in 1,000 suns does he think that this is okay? Like, most of his scientific advisors and stuff have said, do not do it. You're going to screw yourself by doing this. And he's like, we're going to open the schools. I agree, it's important, but it is not that fucking important, okay? You can still do online learning. It's not ideal. I mean, I think, actually, I got contacted recently in the last 2 days about my course, the counselling course I was doing. And they were like, oh, we're going to restart it in November, all online. But we were told by our other tutor that she was hoping to have an in-person, face-to-face class by January.
Yeah.
So we're like, which one are we being put on then? Which one are we paying for? What's happening? So it's like colleges don't even know what the bloody hell they're doing as well.
Yeah, that is a good segue for something I want to talk about a bit later. So. I don't know. Yeah, shall I move on to that now?
Yeah,
it's news. So obviously a lot of young people had their GCSE and A-level results, and there's the whole kind of side of that with the obviously they didn't set their exams, so it's been a teacher's predictions or their mock exam grades that have gone through, and a lot of them are getting like down marked in poorer areas and stuff like that. So there's all the controversy with that, which can kind of understand. Like, you don't get a chance to sit your exams, but I mean, another thing I want to talk about later is exams like worth it anyway. But so they're doing like a free appeals if they're not happy with their grades, which just shows like how it's kind of stupid the system was, because a lot of people are saying they don't trust teachers and stuff, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. Like, they need to have like a standardization and like some restrictions on it. Like, you can't just give every student A stars. But then again, you shouldn't really rely on just algorithms to show that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, it is. I did read something about like a girl who was predicted like A's and B's during her exams and stuff, and ended up getting like a D and an F, which, by the way, is fucking ridiculous. If someone is getting straight A's and you go D, Nani?
Imagine their face on results day.
I was pissed off when I missed my fucking English GCSE by 1 mark from a C. I can't even imagine how angry she is.
Yeah.
The teacher was just like, no, you wouldn't get that. And it's like, who the hell are you to say that? Just let them sit their exam. What I don't get, right, I thought about this. I'd like your kind of thoughts on it. You know how they've built, like, obviously these different hospitals and things like that to obviously cope when the pandemic first happened. Why not have specific halls and stuff, like, sanitized and made? Just do the 2-meter rule and have these exams over the course of, like, a month. But just fill them up as much as you can, safely, and just do it like that. And then once that session of exams is done, let's say they have an hour and a half to do the exam, let those people out, sanitize it, clean it, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
And then bring in the next lot.
I think the fact is that they will be able to do that, but they couldn't do that, in June or July.
Yeah.
So they can do that going forward. So like they've got a few options. They can either just accept the grade they've been given, or they can appeal it, or they can sit their exam.
Yeah.
In like September or something. So yeah, that's how they'll do it going forward.
That just seems like such a pain in the ass.
But yeah, it's mostly kind of, I guess, affecting A-level students because they're obviously looking to get into university and they need their grades to get in there.
Yeah.
And there's if they appeal it, there's like a cut-off point, and then they've got like a day or something to decide where they want to go. So it's not very convenient for them. And that brings up the question, like, is university even worth it this year? Because they're going to be paying $9,000 a year literally just to do online stuff. You're not getting the nightlife. You're not getting the kind of social elements of it.
Yeah.
The experience of uni, really. Is it really worth like going to university this year? What do you think?
Well, personally, well, I can only speak from my experience, but like obviously, like I said, we've been told that we could have like an online course. I'm not doing that. I will wait until we can do face-to-face, simply because counselling is just one of those things.
It's like a face-to-face thing, isn't it? You need that kind of...
Especially when you're training and learning to do it. Like, there are certain things you cannot do when you're learning and training to be a counsellor over Skype. It's just not possible. Or
you need to, like, learn people's, facial things
Exactly.
and what the movements and stuff.
Yeah, there's certain skills that you can't physically do unless you're in face-to-face person when you're training. So you're missing half of the course by that point. But I think it's the same with anything. I think any kind of university course. I think it's. I know the education system is important, and I get it. School is important to an extent. I mean, I didn't do very well in my GCSEs, but I'll be honest, I've had more jobs than my cousins who went to university and got A levels and like a master's, and now they can't even get a job in ASDA before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I've never failed an interview, but they have. It's just about. It's weird in the sense of like, yeah, it's important, I guess, to have something to fall back on, but it's not a necessity. You don't have to have it to be able to have a successful career in something.
Yeah.
You know? Unless you're specifically going for a certain field that you have to have that stuff for, then in which case, of course. But, yeah, no, I don't think it is necessary this year. I think definitely wait.
Yeah, I don't think I would go this year. I'd have like a gap year or something. So I'd recommend a lot of people do that rather than go to university this year. It's going to be like so different than what you should be experiencing. Like half the experience at university is, making friends. How the hell are you going to do that if all your courses online and stuff like that? Having said that, I don't really speak to anyone. Many friends have been you. Oh well.
I think
I'm the exception.
I think the main thing is it's up to each individual person. But if you're looking for like the actual proper experience of going to college or going to university or whatever, wait. If you don't really give a shit and you kind of just want
only into the academic side,
and you just want to get those like results and things like that, then sure, go for it.
You want no fun whatsoever. And all the kind of bad parts of uni, go for it.
All the education, which is the boring side.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, no, fair. I agree.
Yeah, and obviously the prospects aren't going to be great with so many job cuts and all the economy being like 20% down because we're in a recession now. That's another thing.
Yeah, oh God. That's mental. Again.
I mean, it's a big surprise.
Who would have seen this coming?
Oh, this has really sidelined us.
Yeah.
So economy is down like 20%, like the worst since 2007 or something, when the last one was. But yeah, so it's not a great climate to be going to uni as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, especially if you've got all that debt.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun to deal with.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think, the highest fee is like $9,500 per year or something. It's so stupid.
That hurt just.
And then plus all like the maintenance, extra loans and stuff. You're coming out with like going on 50 grand's worth of debt. Like, but yeah,
tricky. It's a hard choice. Do you take it or don't you?
I mean, there are schemes where you don't have to pay it back for like until you're earning so much, and after 30 years it's wiped off and stuff like that. But it's still there. That thing on your shoulders.
Can I be honest? What the fuck's the point in having it in the first place then?
I know.
If you can just wipe it off in 30 years, what the fuck? No point.
I don't know.
It's I don't get it. It's a very confusing. Hence why I'm glad I wasn't smart enough for uni. I'm glad I just went to college.
And yeah, they're always kind of keeping watch on you to make sure if you're earning over a certain amount that they get some.
The debt collectors, otherwise they'll knock on your door.
But yeah, what any other news articles you have?
No, the only thing I've got left now is just there you go, on screen is a picture of the weather. It's finally fucking raining. For those of you who don't live in the UK, you haven't had to suffer this humidity.
Oh yes, we have a terrible heat wave.
And I hear people all the time, because I have people who watch me on Twitch who are from like America, and they're like, "Oh man, it's not that warm."
Yeah.
Yeah, you have dry heat. We have humidity of 100%.
It's a different kind of heat, isn't it?
It's a different kind of broken.
I think they had highs of like 38.5 degrees in London, which people are like, oh, that's like a normal day. But
not for British people.
No. And the fact that we aren't acclimatized to having that sort of weather anyway.
I sat in a tattoo parlor for 5.5 hours being tattooed in temperatures of fucking 30 degrees with humidity of 100% with no AC or fans. It's not fun.
Yeah, we don't have AC in this country either.
Yeah.
Well, we do, but there's no need for it. Like 90% of the time.
Yeah, you have this elaborate AC system put into your house. It's like you use it once in the year, if you're lucky. So
it is not the norm.
yeah, but I don't know, man. It's not nice weather. Don't like it.
Thankfully, it's cooling down now. We can all sleep again.
Oh, fuck. Honestly. Oh, but yes.
So, yes.
Any more news stuff?
I haven't got any more news.
That will bring an end to the weekly news segment. Dun 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 dun. On to the gaming, good sir. The gaming stuff that's been going on. What have you been playing?
Well, I'm downloading the Marvel Avengers beta, which I didn't realise was out.
Is that
now.
Still going?
I think they've had it over a few weekends. Like, if you pre-ordered it, you got it last weekend.
Yeah, I didn't download it because I thought it was for one bloody weekend. God damn.
Yeah, well, download it today. We'll play it at some point. Yeah, I've heard some mixed things about it. Some people are saying it's good. Some people are saying it's like Destiny, which is a bit interesting. Yeah. Destiny and the Avengers, like that sounds amazing, but at the same time, how deep can they go with that? With all like the loot system and
yeah. I think the thing that I've heard most about is people are just going, "Oh God, it's a cash grab.
Yeah,
it's crap. Don't get it."
The grind-a-thon.
Please don't tell me that. I pre-ordered this.
And obviously, there's the PlayStation exclusive. I don't know if it's rumors or it's confirmed that Spider-Man is going to be coming to it as a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, no, that's confirmed. He is only his entire part in the entire game is removed from PC and Xbox versions. It's only for Sony and PlayStation to enjoy. Which is, I mean, I've got it on PlayStation, so it doesn't affect me in the
you're right.
But I do think that is a scummy thing to do.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like,
I mean, exclusive games, fair enough. Like ish, like it's not ideal. Maybe after a certain amount of time, release them on a different platform. But exclusive DLC, whether they're going to release that later or not, I don't know. But it is a bit scummy to kind of remove a portion of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's an entire section. Apparently, it's like, because obviously, for those who don't know, it's kind of like you go into like a hub area and you can kind of go into like the Avengers kind of map thing, and you get to choose who you like. You can play a Thor mission or you can play a Hulk mission, that kind of thing. Essentially, all of Spider-Man stuff, every last bit of it. And apparently, I don't know if this is confirmed. I have seen it on some websites, but they're never like confirmed. It's like a source has told us, that kind of thing. Take it with a gun shot. Even the cutscenes with Spider-Man have been removed from the game. Everything is scrubbed from the game that includes Spider-Man, which is crazy to me because I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yeah, it makes me think if a whole character and missions is DLC, then how big is the game? Like, is it really going to be that big if a character can be added in as a DLC, or is it going to be like one character can do 3 missions?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it is definitely concerning. Obviously, I'll stream the game when it comes out on the 1st, because when you pre-order it, you get it on the 1st. You get it 3 days early. Woo! I hate
that little trope.
that kind of shit does not fly with me. It's crap.
Wait 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And pay £20 less.
That shouldn't be a thing. Personally, I got it because I loved the Spider-Man game. That's why I pre-ordered it, because I was like, oh, the Avengers game? Hell yeah. Okay, they don't look like the characters. That's fine. It probably cost a lot to have them. They sound a bit off. Okay, that's fine. Oh, no, the gameplay's apparently really crap. Oh, great. Okay, it's just getting worse, apparently. And I'm like, oh, what do I
mean, on paper, it ticks all the boxes, like, for what I would want, but I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, it looks kind of like the old kind of Marvel games that used to have, like the Alliance games, like how you would have like a team and you can kind of switch between them and stuff. I don't know if that is what's happening, but I did see a bit of gameplay with Thor, and there was a lot, and I mean a lot of QuickTime events.
Yeah.
Which is a bit concerning. I mean, I don't mind QTEs that much, but when they're like all the time and I don't really get to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit concerning. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
Some people are saying that every superhero has their unique power, obviously, but they don't actually all feel that different.
yeah, button mashing.
Same like combos, like basic attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So obviously it's like being compared to Destiny, but whereas Destiny is a like original story concept, and they could keep adding to that Marvel cinematic universe, can they really keep on adding adding stuff to that without it being like super drip fed and stuff like that?
I mean, it is a live service game, which is something that does concern me because, okay, live service can work. That's been proven. 90% of the time it doesn't, and now
it's going to be another Anthem, I think.
Yeah, you're using another Marvel. You're using Marvel, one of the biggest studios in the world, with some of the most recognizable characters. But when you really get into the nitty gritty of them, there's not much at all. Yeah. Like in regards to like missions and stuff, you could put in there. I guess they'll have like events, maybe.
Yeah, events.
I don't know.
It's very much like missions and like strikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any free roam.
Oh God.
Not sure.
Not complete free roam anyway. I think like on the hub world you can obviously go around and do whatever.
Yeah.
But I think very much it's going to be heavily restricted. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of hold my views until I play the beta, but
yeah,
I'm definitely concerned, to say the least, from a lot of the reactions that I've seen from people that I've watched on YouTube, and the gameplay footage I've seen looks cool.
Yeah.
But also another thing, we were talking about this, I believe, last night when we were playing Division. Obviously, there is a PS5 version, and there is an Xbox Series X. And guess what else comes with that? A free upgrade. So it's like, what worries me is that it's not going to be optimized for PS4 or Xbox One and stuff, and it's going to run like arse.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's me or whether it's the system, but I feel like a lot of the games I'm playing on PS4 these days seem to be very badly optimized. Now that I know the PS5 is on their horizon, I'm like, oh yeah, this game doesn't run that well now. So I'm really feeling the age of the console now. But...
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I just be grateful you didn't upgrade to a Pro. They're crap.
They're jet engines.
I hate my PS4 Pro, man. I can't wait for a PS5 just so I can play a game. I can play a console that doesn't sound like ass and doesn't run like ass. My entire console crashed yesterday, twice in a row, trying to play Division. It nearly bricked. I shit myself.
Oh God! Don't even mention Breakpoint.
It was painful. Yeah. But
yeah. I tried to download the Avengers beta earlier, and we had 2 power cuts, one right after another. So that really didn't help my PlayStation.
They did warn that might be a thing though because of the weather and everything.
Oh yeah.
But then you're not. Apparently, it's not raining at Bayou now. So
no. Well, we just get the power. We just get the shit.
Yeah, you just get the crap. None of the actual benefits.
None of the cool thunder and stuff.
Oh man.
But yeah, so
excited but cautious, I think would be the right word.
Cautiously excited, a good one.
Yeah.
So Xbox X and PS5, might as well move on to that a bit.
Go for it.
So there's obviously still no price released yet, and it's supposed to be releasing in November.
I know, we're still waiting.
I think they're playing chicken with each other, like who's going to release the price first. There's a big, there was a big blow for Xbox. I believe Halo is being delayed.
Yeah, Halo Infinite's been delayed. They announced it was coming out in November, the Xbox Series X, and a lot of people have said that the Xbox Series X is coming out on the 22nd because they've done that. If you look back on the release schedules of the other consoles, that date every time. So everyone thinks it's the 22nd, which gives Sony, let's face it, Sony are going to release it early in November. The earlier they can release it, Christmas is coming, you know.
Yeah.
Pre-order ours first.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't know. What's kind of your predictions? Do you kind of still have the same predictions for price and stuff? Or?
Oh yeah, it's just around the £500 mark, I'm thinking. Hopefully it'll be a bit cheaper, but I'm guessing around that. I'm guessing Xbox will probably try and undercut quite heavily PlayStation as their selling point.
Yeah.
As like the entry level system. Everyone should have one of these because it's so cheap.
I mean, PlayStation...
Because that's the only thing they have now, really. They don't have any launch games, really.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But, I mean, PlayStation have done before though. They've released a console and then lost money on it, or not made
Yeah.
anything off it for a year, and still managed to make a huge profit.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, they've got that advantage, you know.
Especially with the digital editions and stuff like that.
Oh
That's
yeah,
obviously going to be made at a loss because they know they've got you as a customer for life.
yeah, exactly.
Through their store, buying things from them, buying gift cards for them.
Yeah.
All the DLC through the store. You can't get physical media, and anyone else can get your money. So
yeah. So, I don't know.
that is why there is a digital edition. It's not for convenience, really. It's for money for them.
I am a bit peeved still that they're still not available for pre-order. I understand that it's probably because they're trying to get as many as possible before they do the pre-order thing. But it's like
there's a factory somewhere out there filled with PS5s already done.
Oh, yeah,
Think about that.
Hundreds of thousands of them, but let's face it, millions of these things are going to be sold. Same for the Xbox, probably, I imagine, as well. But
yeah.
I think they're worried because, obviously, apparently, I think both companies have come out and said that neither of them have suffered any kind of like problems or anything making the consoles and getting them set up and ready.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm nervous because I'm not buying any more games now that come out on release. There's just no point.
No.
They're all going to come out on PS5 anyway, so I may as well fucking wait. Especially stuff like Far Cry, the new Far Cry. That's not coming out until February next year. What is the point in pre-ordering it on PS4? Just get a new console.
I know.
Like,
would you get that free upgrade? It seems to be a bit of a lottery about this free upgrade stick. Shite.
Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we? How do we feel about those bullshit free upgrades?
It's a bit of a gimmick and a lottery, as I say. Like, I think you'll probably talk about Control.
Oh yeah, I was about to mention that, but yeah, finish.
But yeah, it's like I would have expected that to begin with. So it's like a good thing, but it's not a good thing at the same time because that's what you expect, a free upgrade. If you're going to buy it so close to being another console release, then surely you should be able to play it and the whole backwards compatible thing.
Absolutely.
But no, they want to go a layer further, not backwards compatible. You want a PS5 version of the game.
It's I don't know. I'm glad of it. If you already own the game, you get a free upgrade. That's fine. Whatever. Cool. I'm glad
But most
you're doing
games.
that. Yeah. People like Remedy can fuck off. And there's only one reason that
There's
I'm using
punchline.
Remedy. The only reason, yeah, there it is. It's been a while since I've said it. Fuck off. The only reason, right, I use Control as the example is because I played through that game. I played through it with Mum, and I originally made a video on it, talking about like the game and what I thought about it and stuff like that. Kind of like what I did in the past with Last of Us 2. I didn't upload the video for the simple reason I don't think I've ever got that angry on camera about a game when I'm talking about it. It's such a pile of crap. And, okay, if you would have got like a free upgrade, say they optimized it and brought out an update, cool. They're going one step further and being like, hey, you want an upgrade for the game? Oh, that's fine. Just pay another £50 for the Ultimate Edition. Oh, sorry, £60 for the Ultimate Edition, which is the same bloody thing.
It ain't right.
What the fuck? And they're bringing it out on PS4 as well and Xbox One. It's like, why? Just give them the free upgrade.
I would have assumed it'd be like a Plus game at some point as well.
Yeah, well, this is what I do. Remedy are a good company, man. I like Alan Wake, but they have become scummier as time goes, as every game company has. Let's face it. Unfortunately, gaming industry has turned into who can make the most money the quickest, and it's starting to have an effect on like the games and stuff that get sold. Like you see these games that come out and they're just not ready, not up to. I mean, Christ, Anthem. Destiny 2 had issues when it first came out. Division, fuck me, look how bad that game turned out. So many good games that end up going down this poisonous avenue of we just want money, we just need money, Even GTA is guilty of it. GTA, okay, it's cool we get a free upgrade of it. But they're doing...
I don't think you do, actually.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, that's been up in the air. At 1 minute, there was a statement that came out about upgrades and stuff. Someone asked them about it. And they were a bit like, oh, yeah, no, we're sure that'll happen. And now they've announced that GTA Online is going to be a completely separate entity.
Yeah, they're going to make GTA Online free for a limited period.
Yeah. And
then back into 2021.
So
but then the story mode of PS5, of the PS5 version will be paid for, I think.
Do you know what I think they're going to do with GTA 5? And I hope they don't, because it will change how I view that game. I reckon, as you said, it's only free for a certain amount of time. I wonder if they're going to do a subscription for it.
Because, well, I ain't got to subscribe.
I mean, think about it, right? Okay, it's free for a limited time. Oh, that's great. Awesome. You get to carry over your character. Even better. Fantastic. I don't have to start everything again. It's a grind. It's a pain in the ass. I've lost a lot of money in the past. I don't have to do it all again. Wonderful. It's only going to be free for a limited time. Is that a one-off payment, or are you going to charge me monthly because it's an online service?
I don't think they can do it with GTA Online. I mean, it's how many years old now?
I wouldn't pass them.
If they started now, like, it'd just be a bit.
I mean,
really.
They've neglected every other game they've had. Look at Red Dead Online. That game is fun. Don't get me wrong, but the last time I played it, fuck all to do. Even with like the new stuff they put in at the time, and recently they brought out an update which broke everything. Like carts were driving themselves. People couldn't get on their horses. Their horses wouldn't come to them. Towns were completely empty. There was no NPCs. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I don't know.
What? What the fuck?
What? But I mean, I don't know. I'm very, very skeptical because Rockstar are trying to make more and more money every time, obviously, as you want to do. But I think, as Jim Sterling put it best, they are chasing an impossible rabbit hole of money that they're never going. There's going to come a point where they can't make any more money. It's impossible. It's just not possible to do it anymore. What happens then? Do they start firing more people? Do they start making their games really crap, but making a shit ton of money off it? Like,
I would be expecting a GTA 6 at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what they should be doing instead of being like, "Hey, we're going to port GTA 5 over." Because we can't be bothered. I know they are working on GTA 6. I know that. I think that's come out a while back. Like there was loads of leaks and stuff, and people being talking about it. Like, "Oh, this is what's going to be in GTA 6," and it's like, really?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? Yeah. I hope they're making a GTA 6, and I hope that they focus on it more
sure
than Red Dead. Red Dead 2 is a good, fun game, but I hope they do a bit more for the online for it because the online's fun, man. I mean, there's no longer a certain funny montage on my channel. But I still have that video because I do love it, and it's a fun video for all of us. And we always used to have fun in it, but kind of became kind of empty to play it, you know. And GTA's kind of become a repetitive grind. Although fun,
yeah,
repetitive and grindy. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's how they make the money. Yeah. It's like you either grind or you buy our shark cards.
Oh. But yeah, I don't know.
So I'll give a little mention to Dead by Daylight here.
Yes.
They've released that little nugget of crossplay out in the open for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they managed to do it like just out of the blue, seemingly. Yeah. Like no update was required. It's just like you log in. Now you can play with all generations: Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Switch. Not mobile though. Not mobile.
No, not mobile. That would be unfair.
So hats off to the devs for managing to do that.
Absolutely.
Before a lot of other games.
No, fair dues to them for that. And there are
obviously there's a few questions about balance.
Well, I mean, I will say, before we get into that, I will say there is good things that have come with it.
Yeah.
The matchmaking times and how long it takes to get a match drastically cut down.
So much better.
That is better. That's it.
I suppose if you have got friends on different systems, you can now play with them.
Yeah, that's always a plus. I will allow you, please elaborate, Sean, what you were going to say earlier, the balance.
Maybe a few issues with balance with PC players having a slight advantage over the console players. No. On console, again, going back to the optimization thing, I suppose it's not entirely optimized for consoles and this like a 10-year-old hardware to a new spec PC. Yeah. So we're going to get frame drops. We're going to be at a disadvantage. We can't move fast enough. We can't like turn around fast enough. We can't aim as good, especially with some killers in there. So I believe PC players will have an advantage with that. So the game already feels a bit different, a bit harder.
I'm going to say this now, by the way, because Sean is such a lovely human being. He won't say this. But to you PC Master Race tosspots out there that are now complaining, oh, console players complaining, fuck off. It is unfair. The amount of times, and this is things, I've got footage of it, when like we've been hit and then it just freezes for a second or two out of nowhere. No reason. But the killer's still able to move and stuff. It's weird because I think eventually they'll get it right and it'll be fine. But I think right now they're kind of, because they've done it so quickly, I think there's a few little things in there that they need to fix a bit. Especially with, I mean, like we said, you know, we mostly play as survivors when we play together and whatever. So, but when you're like running away from the killer, you can tell when it's a PC killer because they move about triple the speed. Like, it's insane. I don't get it, but it's cool, but I think a little bit more work is needed.
Yeah. And they say PC players in general are a bit more sweaty than console casual.
Yeah, you casual motherfuckers.
But yeah, I was ripping my hair out the other day because I was playing as the killer and I was going to get survivors. I managed to get 2 of them, and the other 2 I just could not. They were looping me around a pallet, looping me around everything. Like I could not catch them for the life of me. And it figures out at the end that the 2 players I did manage to get were console players. Yeah. The 2 I didn't get were the PC, and it could be a coincidence. Could be a coincidence, but probably not. So yeah, I was like, oh, you PC players. So you know, anything wrong with that game, I will blame the PC players. But you know, I'm happy crossplay.
By the way, it's not the PC players' fault, right? We're not saying that. What we're saying is that there is certain advantages. There's probably, I'm going to say this now, there's probably advantages that console players have as well. Absolutely. There's probably something in there that we just haven't experienced yet because we have been playing against sweaty tryhards that fuck us over within seconds of starting the match. That's another good thing. Matches are so quick now. At
least you can get back into the other sweaty match.
But yeah, it's a shame because I think it has brought a lot of good things to the game, but I think it's also brought a lot of negative things to the game as well that need to be addressed. Hopefully,
you can actually opt out of it as well, as you've mentioned.
Yeah, obviously there is the option. I mean, I think one of our friends actually turned to us and was like, "Well, just turn it off," because I don't want to sit there for 5 minutes waiting for a fucking game because every other bastard is using crossplay. So it's we get there's an option to turn it off, but you shouldn't have to. It should be a fair playing field no matter what you're playing on. And I think one of the only solutions would be to cap the frame rate on PC, which they're not going to do because PC players would have a fit, or try and optimize the game better for consoles. Which
there's no point really, is there? Because the next generation's coming. So why would they try and optimize it on this?
Exactly. So it's one of those things. Maybe it's just a wait out process, and then once the next consoles come out, it'll be more fair and an even playing field. Or maybe it'll just stay this way forever, and we'll constantly have to be reminded of a better time when death wasn't so swift. But yeah, that's that.
Well, we'll give it some more time and
bit more playing.
Let you know our final thoughts in a few weeks.
We'll keep playing, and hopefully it won't be that that sweaty tryhardy all the time.
But yes, that's what I've got for games anyway.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I'm still playing through Borderlands 2. That's one of the only things that I've got. And it's fun, but it is way more unbalanced compared to the first game. Like, it is way more challenging. Like, it is a jump. There's not as much side stuff to do. Admittedly, you've got like all the DLC stuff you can go off and do if you really want to level up and grind up. But I don't know. It feels very unbalanced to me right now. But I suck at games, so there could be. The second thing was Fall Guys. Fall Guys.
Oh yeah.
The new. Oh, well, I say new. It's been out for a little bit now, but Fall Guys, the new kind of wave that is sweeping across the nation.
Everyone's streaming it. Everyone's playing it.
Yeah, literally. What's kind of your thoughts on it?
Well, it's a fun game, definitely. I think you'll agree with me on that. Oh, yeah. We played it a few times. I played it with some more friends last night. Yeah, it was good. It's just maybe a little bit repetitive after a while.
Yeah, not many maps or different game modes.
People are saying it's the new Fortnite, and I really don't think that's the case.
I do not agree with that statement.
I believe it's a fun game in small doses, but you can only take kind of so much of it. I certainly can't see myself getting addicted to it like a lot of people are.
Yeah, I've seen people playing it for like 8 hours in a stream.
Oh,
How?
I don't know how you can do that.
How?
Far too repetitive
It's
for
not.
that.
It's not that entertaining. Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely a game I'd rather A, play with friends, and B, play for a short amount of time, like an hour, maybe max. You know, I don't see it entertaining me for much longer than that.
It's something I was glad it was free on PlayStation.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. The fact that it was like a free thing on day one when it came out, that's insane. And I will say the pass on the actual game, the season thing, is probably one of the best passes I've ever seen in a game. You get cosmetics, so they look different. You get plenty of like, the in-game currency and bonus currency, like the crowns and stuff. Like you get a shit ton of stuff in that pass, so it is definitely worth every penny. I mean, if they obviously charge. But yeah. But the last thing is, obviously, we went back to, as I mentioned earlier, Division 2.
You'll bring it up this time.
What? You're playing the game? All you did was bitch about? I mean, yes, because I like it.
Because we're fucking hypocrites, okay?
I love the game. Okay, I've never ever said I hate the game. I love the game. But massive. Please, give the IP to someone else. For fuck's sake. You don't know what you're doing anymore. Just give it to someone else. It's still fun. Me and Sean went on it. I had a few games. We finished one of the manhunts.
Yeah.
Which was cool. It's interesting to get that little bit more lore and stories. I understand yours glitched out because you had to revive me.
Yeah, the same reason to cancel the lore is the one to revive.
Yeah, which is fucking stupid. But yeah, it's still fun. It's still enjoyable, but there are still things that are broken about the game. Obviously, let's face it. It's Division. That's going to be the case. And I hope it gets better, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, so they're going to be releasing the skyscraper mode at some point. I think you mentioned it might be paid.
Yes, I have done my little bit of research here and there, and a lot of people are seeing it as coming out as a paid DLC kind of thing.
No.
I mean, if you do that, you're fucked. More people leave the game. I mean, have you seen how small the player base is? Pretty damn small now, considering it's an MMO, right? It is a massive online multiplayer game, and it is small. The player base has shrunk drastically because they're just not doing anything right. There's still glitches in there from day one. I think Aaron Keener is still broken. The DLC that you pay for is broken and unfinishable, and they still haven't fixed it. And I think that glitch has been there for like since day one. I think we got lucky.
That fight. I've not done that again since we did it.
Yeah, but I have to because I think one of the manhunts is actually on the DLC expansion. So
right, so to that one.
Interesting. So we'll let you know how that goes.
It'll probably be streamed.
I've definitely enjoyed it. I did stream it. I'm enjoying playing it again, but bear in mind I shouldn't have to leave a game for months and then come back to be able to have fun on it. There's something not right there if that's the case. I reckon.
Yeah, because all that content has been released over weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, and I think after this season, I'll leave the game again and not come back for another 3 or 4 months. Like, it's just not a fun game to play for a long period of time. Like, you have to have a gap in between because it's just so fucking boring.
The seasons are basically just play everything you've played a million times again.
Yeah.
And yeah. Do it now with a different colour on it.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even people that play on like heroic or challenging. We literally just play on hard, blast through it all, have some fun, leave. That's it.
I don't know how they've made it so repetitive when games like Destiny do like similar things, but somehow make it seem not as repetitive.
I mean, I will never...
It's like a quest system, I suppose.
I will not sit here and say Destiny is a bad game, because it isn't. It's just not my thing. I don't know why. It's an FPS, and I love FPSs, but for some reason I can never get into it. I guess because most of the people that I know that play it are sweaty tryhards. But less on that. less on that drama. We'll leave that there. But yeah, no. I mean, I like the game. I play it with friends, but I would definitely say Destiny is less repetitive and irritating compared to Division 2.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they spice things up a bit more than they do seasons better.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they're perfect either, but they do them better.
I will give Division 2 this much, though. The seasons are really quick to get through, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it means that if you do get the season pass, which I haven't, and I don't recommend anyone does, if you do get the season pass, you are going to get everything in it. It's so easy to just blast through it. It's piss easy. But the problem is that the things you get from it are dog shit and completely useless. So
yeah, dilemma.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
And the fact that you don't actually earn the currency back as well, so you are paying for those things.
Exactly, which is unusual because most season passes do that. Massive. Are you running low on funds?
Oh, you can make greedy.
Ah.
It's a just bit from Activision.
Yeah, no, well.
It's always Activision's fault.
Normally
not anymore.
Them. Not right now, no. Okay. On to the films. So, yes. Anything you've been watching, Sean?
One that I have rewatched recently is Wreck, which is the Spanish horror found footage style film.
Yes.
It's very good.
Which Quarantine, the US version, is based off.
Yes. This is the one that came out before. It's kind of a weird kind of situation with Quarantine because it was kind of like a shot-for-shot remake, but with some tiny differences. It's kind of like begs the question, like, does it really need to be remade for an American audience? Like, can people really not read subtitles?
The Quarantine was only made literally because people couldn't be asked to read subtitles. Which you are doing yourselves a huge disservice by watching Quarantine and not Wreck. Wreck is
so
better.
It's like put into making these films. Like, why just that little reason? Why would they make it?
Yeah.
So stupid. I suppose that was a wave of them making American remakes of a lot of films, I suppose.
Yeah, it's what they did, isn't it? I mean, what did you think of Wreck, though? Because I've got all of them. I've still yet to watch 3 and 4, though.
Yeah, I've seen first 3. First one was very good. Like, obviously, at an original plot, it felt like a good kind of zombie movie. I do quite like the found footage style in some films, not in others. It kind of gets a bit annoying, but this one was quite good. And yeah, Spanish subtitles did not faze me at all. It kind of felt more immersive, if anything.
Yeah. It feels more like a found footage thing at that point as well, I find.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Makes it find more believable.
Yeah, or more authentic. Yes. And it's good to get some European cinema down us.
It's good to get European
get it down your lap. I went a bit more than that. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and the sequel's pretty good as well. Not as good, but pretty good.
Yeah. Sequel is good.
Yeah, you've seen it, yeah.
I've seen number 1, and I saw Apocalypse as well, because 1 and 3, I believe that is. And then I recently bought 2 and 4 when they were on sale. I've still yet to watch them, but yeah, no, I saw Quarantine when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13, and I found it really weird. I was like, this doesn't feel like a film that would be made for the Western kind of market. And then obviously a year later, I found the actual Wreck, and it was so much nicer. It looks more realistic as well, and that's, I think, the believability of it. The idea that they just got trapped in this, you know, one building with an infection they have no idea what it's about, and then you end up finding it's like a rabies infection, as most zombie things turn out to be. But it's just
rabies with a hint of like religion put in there. So it's weird.
But it works because it's so different. Like, you never see a zombie film just trapped in one location, and it's so good. It's pretty fucking gruesome at times when it wants to be, but
it's interesting with the American remake. They actually got rid of the whole religion aspect of it, and that they changed a few things about it. Like, some of the kills they changed. One of the things they did do better was have like a more kind of graphic kills. I suppose one of them they have to like beat to death a zombie with the camera, which is quite interesting. Like from a first person perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird how they changed some things and they got rid of some other things. But overall, I think Wreck was definitely the superior.
It's definitely one of those things as well. I think that with like whether it's Spanish films, German films, whatever, they're always lower budget as well, and I think that makes them better because it makes them look more real. Because every little piece of like every pound or whatever the currency is, let's say, just say pound because I'm British. For every like penny or cent or crown or whatever the fuck goes into it, it's better every time. And it just they spend their money more carefully instead of being like, let's make this look amazing, like this and this and that and the other. And it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love good films.
Any films you've been watching before we move on to our little mini?
Well, recently, obviously, watched through the rest of the Evil Dead. So that was good. So me and Vic started watching through Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the series. Really funny. Really good. Highly recommend it. Catfish. Watched the film that came back out in 2007, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
The original thing before the series. Watched that. And I did go and watch Blackfish.
Oh, yeah.
And let's hope I never meet any of those fucking assholes that are up there. That if you haven't watched it, I won't say anything about it because honestly, I do think you need to watch it and experience it. It's shocking, absolutely shocking what they cover up, and
it's such a good documentary. I love that one.
It's insane. I don't get it. Actually, there is one part that I will talk about here because I'm curious to know if you know. Me and Vic, after watching it, because Vic had seen it before as well, after we watched it, we looked up SeaWorld and their most recent kind of shows back in February and stuff. And you remember that law that was passed? You know, that people couldn't be in there? They're sitting on them. They're breaking the law and no one is doing anything about it. Fuck is wrong with America?
Probably a loophole they found. Yeah, they're just exploiting the animals, aren't they?
Luckily, they can't breed them anymore, though. That is illegal now. Like, there's 59 in captivity, and once they are dead, they are dead. They're not allowed to hold them in captivity.
That's kind of it. It's sad, but yeah, at least it's coming to an end. But then
I'm fucking glad it is because it's. Oh, I'm tearing up now. It's fucking horrible, man. I mean, I get angry, but I got so angry I cried. I was proper upset about it. It's just one of those things you just don't understand.
Poor whales.
Yeah, literally. But yes, on a bit of a different one, I watched The Purge 2 again. Obviously, I watched The Purge 1 before, and I'm going through them.
Anarchy, was it?
Yeah, Anarchy.
Yeah.
Good film. Interesting.
I liked that one, yeah.
It was an interesting take on it. I've still yet. I think the third one, it's the same guy, I believe, but as like a bodyguard for the Prime Minister or something.
Yeah, election year, that one's called.
Yeah, so I have seen that one before, and that one's, from what I remember, is okay, but I've never actually seen the fourth one, the first Purge, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. I prefer the first three than the fourth one.
Yeah.
For personal reasons. But, yeah, Purge films are really good. Like, just the concept of them, I suppose, it's really interesting. And they've done it well, like, how it's filmed and stuff. Yeah, I think they did a good job on it.
Yeah.
The sequels are kind of on a grander scale, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's less about like the home invasion, more about the city invasion.
Yeah. But I mean, half and half.
Yeah, not the golden Oscar winnings things, but they are good.
They're okay. They're all right.
Lots of kills.
Yeah. Definitely.
Kill count is off the scale.
Yeah. So, didn't you have something that you wanted to talk about?
Yes. This is, I suppose, a little experimental section, a little film corner here. I wanted to ask what your favourite movie action scene was and why.
Okay. I have a few. Probably, if I was to say a more recent one, I'd say Accident Man. Scott Adkins. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a good martial artist in real life. He does a lot of action roles. He's just outstanding at doing action scenes and stuff. There's so many good ones in that film. He did Undisputed, which is another like UFC one. It's really good. Over the top, obviously, and there are unrealistic things that happen, but it's all like practical and everything. It's really good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I like practical kind of effects rather than like CGI. It takes away from it.
Absolutely, I think practical works better. It just looks nicer, looks better, and works better. And then you've got like your popcorn stuff, obviously. Anything Avengers, pretty much the action scenes in there are always fun to watch and amusing.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. But I think if I had to stand out above everything, absolutely everything, I would say there's a film called Damage, which stars retired WWE superstar Steve Austin, and it's kind of like bare knuckle fighting kind of stuff like that. And the final fight in that isn't anything special, but it's so gritty and kind of just like down to earth and realistic in that sense. I don't know. There's something about the tension in the fight and how they portrayed it, and it just works, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat. Yeah, I've still not watched the Mission Impossible films. I'm sure one of them will take over, but you know. As of right now, that fight is definitely the one that stands out for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Mission Impossible. Because I was going to say, I can't actually remember if I've actually seen the first one, but I do like kind of keep track of them and watch some of them sporadically. I've got Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation here.
Yeah.
What the mountain motorcycle chase scene is probably one of my favorite action scenes, which I've watched so many times. For some reason, I just love it. I love the way the camera moves. It's so dramatic. The music in there is just like really punches the accents of it. And Tom Cruise, of course, got to mention him doing his old stunts. And
makes it better.
There's even like little details, like when they're turning on the mountains and the narrow lanes, and you can see his knee actually like touch the floor on one of them, and like just those little things that make it realistic and not like CGI based.
I mean, I don't like Tom Cruise's Scientology bullshit, but
personal life
as an actor and as a person, one of the nicest people I think I've ever seen come out of Hollywood. Like, I've never heard a bad word about him, and two, one of the most hardest working, by far. So
he's not afraid to take risks. He breaks. I think he's probably broken every bone in his body.
Yeah, he broke his fucking foot from jumping to a building. Out of all the stuff he's done, hanging off a fucking plane, and he's like, "Oh, I'll break my foot when I do a jump."
I think he's very much the Hollywood king of action as an actor who isn't a stunt double.
And still, after he broke his foot, still climbed up and ran off screen with a broken foot. Like, what the fuck? And it's the one that used in the film. It's nuts. Like, what?
I guess we'll have links to specific scenes, I suppose, if you want to watch them, like down below, maybe.
I'll try and find them. Admittedly, they are kind of hard sometimes to find because law. But yeah, I'll do my best. I'll see if I can find them.
For personal use only.
Yes.
But yeah, that's just a little a taster of what films we like to watch, what our favourite memories of scenes are. We'll probably come back to and do another little segment like this, or could be like emotional scenes, scary scenes, whatever.
We'll start adding stuff like that maybe into games and stuff too.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I suppose you could extend that to games, because obviously with games getting more cinematic, like Last of Us and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So should we move on to random tings?
Yes.
Let's get on to the random tings side of this stuff. So, what random tings have you got? We'll go back and forth, one each, kind of thing.
Oh well, I've literally, apart from the fun idea of the movie scenes, I've got exams. Should we end them, or should we carry on doing it? Are they a good test of a student's knowledge, or are they just a memory test?
That's a tricky one, man. I mean, my personal opinions, I failed all my exams, and yet I've never failed an interview for a job. So, says a lot. And every job I've gone to as well, I've always brought my GCSEs just in case and stuff, and they're like, oh, we're not interested in that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe college and maybe A levels, college and university. They're maybe slightly more relevant.
Yeah.
But from my experience, they've never helped me get a job, and they've never benefited me in any way, fucking shape or form. Admittedly, I failed most of mine, but I think even if you have, like I talked about earlier, my cousins are some of the smartest people on this planet. I will always say that about them. They are incredibly talented when it comes to being that, and they've got masters and stuff and whatever. They still can't get a job. I know, obviously, pandemic and stuff now, but before this, they were even struggling to get a job. So
Mm.
I think it's all just fucking wish-washy bullshit, really, personally. But I understand why people wouldn't think that.
Yeah, I suppose it's more about the just the exam itself. Like, is it worth the necessary stress that it puts a lot of kids under?
Yeah.
Or is like a better way to go with just coursework and teacher assessment?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this year has proven that they don't have to take exams to get a grade at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe going forward, the system could change, and we won't have as many exams. I mean, I suppose for like maths, English, science, like the core subjects, I don't know. I'd probably say that exams, although it's not for every student, it probably is a good indicator of their knowledge and stuff. And just like a quick like snap thing, like, okay, they go into this section or what. But yeah, it is a memory test for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a bit on the fence of it.
I think it's definitely a tricky one, because I think for some people, I think some people in life will probably end up needing them because they're going for a specific avenue, whereas people like myself who didn't really know what they wanted to do when they were younger don't really give a shit, and I haven't really found it has hindered me in any way, the fact that I got mostly fails. Or what's considered a fail, because technically in school they're like, no grade is a fail unless it's a U. Well, bitch, I got 3 of them. So I mean,
take that, Mrs. Jenkins.
But then that was the name of one of my teachers. Yeah, no, I've worked as a carer, a bricklayer. You know, I've worked in shops. I've worked in retail. I've worked in pubs. I've worked in kitchens. I've worked as a cook. You know, everything. I've done a mix of everything. I worked as a fucking hairdresser at one point. I mean, I don't know. I think more so when it comes to getting a job, at least what I've found is just be yourself, and if you want to give something a go or do it, just fucking go give it a go or do it. You know, most people don't give a shit about your GCSEs as long as you can hold a conversation with them at least.
Oh yeah, well, it's all about that first impressions thing, isn't it? As soon as they see you and speak to you, then they'll probably already have a good idea in their mind in the first 10 seconds whether you're going to get the position or not.
Yeah,
regardless of if they look at the results or not.
Isn't that like a thing? Like within the first 10 seconds, most employers know if they're going to hire you or not.
Yeah. That's why this big thing about, should you have tattoos and piercings on your face and stuff.
Never found tattoos have hindered me.
Would you employ someone with that?
Yeah, I think I'm glad that admittedly in the last probably few years, I would say that's become a less of a prevalent conversation or even a relevant argument to hiring someone. Like they've become more acceptable, which I'm very glad of. I guess it also
20 years ago, you would never have seen anyone in like a customer-facing role with a tattoo on their face
20 years
or
ago,
neck.
I would never have got a job. My hands tattooed is like a thing. But then again, 10 years ago, people were like, they'd quite, like I said, they would question you on like having your hands tattooed and things like that. Or your neck or anything like that. And now people are like, oh, if you get your face tattooed, you're not going to get a job. Give it another 10 years. It won't matter. Like it's just in the moment, and then as it becomes more relevant, although I'd never have my face tattooed, it'll become like a norm, I guess.
Yeah. Just freedom of expression for people, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect their ability to do whatever the job they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
It scares the old ladies.
Actually, I've had more compliments off old people than I have young people about my tattoos. That's not even a joke. Older generations seem to be like, oh, that's a nice one, isn't it? What's it mean? I'm like, oh, it means this.
Does it mean up, love?
Oh, it's weird. Oh, if I was 20 years younger, I'd ruin you. Oh, great. Okay.
Well, that's escalated quickly.
It's like, all right.
No more care home visits for you.
Yeah. Oh.
So what would you like to speak about in this interesting?
That leads me on to my other thing about getting tattoos in the pandemic. As recently as we all know, there's one.
It's the first time I've seen it.
A little firefly symbol there.
Nice.
So, yeah, but that's the main one that I got done. I can't even show it all on camera. It doesn't fit, but getting them done in the pandemic, fucking weird, because there's so many rules and restrictions now. Like obviously the glass shield in front of me, and then he's got a tattoo without knocking the glass shield. He's got a riot shield on and everything. So yeah, it's weird. It's strange. It's. I'm never getting tattooed in a heat wave again. Never.
Did it feel safer though?
Do you know what? I I actually, and I'll be honest, because while he was tattooing, and I get along with this guy, so I was quite lucky in the sense that I have a good rapport with him, so we were talking and whatever. He knocked the screen so many times with his tattoo gun, and it wasn't his fault, but it's just because of the rules. The screen has to be there, but because of that, I shouldn't call it a tattoo gun, by the way. It's not a gun. But with his tattoo machine, he knocked the screen so many times that he had to pull away just in case he fucked the tattoo up. And he was like, I wouldn't normally do that, but I don't want to mess the tattoo up. He didn't. He did a very good job. But I'll put like their thing on screen or something and be like, "Cheers, mate."
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Yeah, not sponsored. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's strange. It's a weird situation because it's not really like anything different in a verse, like having a conversation or sitting there and just having it done. But like all the other procedures, like it took an hour before we even got the template put on. Because you have to go through like all the forms, the signing, all the safety procedures. You have to make sure you're both cleaned and hygienic, and it's insane. He has to put all the equipment on, and that took him 10 minutes to do that. It's nuts.
I mean, the things they have to do just to continue like doing what they love.
Yeah, and he actually said, I probably shouldn't say that, but he actually said, he was like, I feel like the government is genuinely trying to stop tattooers from working because of how much they're trying to do. Like, it's like they're trying to divert money from them to go somewhere else where they would prefer it. Luckily, he is a family-run business, so he pays his taxes, and that's all they get off him. It's not like a mainstream thing, but
yeah,
it's still like frustrating as hell. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I got my haircut. It's not the same, but I suppose it's the
still close.
The close contact thing. And I went to like a back street in barber that I've never been to before, and she was wearing a mask. She said I didn't have to, so. There we go.
I had to.
There wasn't that much safety in there.
I didn't have to wear a mask, but I had to wear a mask. Sorry, but I didn't have to wear gloves. But they do offer them for like people who go in there as well.
Oh yeah.
Gloves. But then
it's just like kind of ticking boxes mostly, but they'll go along with whatever's easiest for the customers, I suppose.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, what was it like getting a haircut? Because I want to get my haircut and dyed and sorted again. But like,
I think it's fine. You just gotta prepare yourself. I wasn't so much anxious about the haircut as anxious about the conversation that you have to have with these people.
You have to talk to these people.
I have to make small talk. But yeah, it was all right. I was literally out in 15 minutes. So.
I had to talk to them, James. I had to talk to them.
I know, that was the worst bit by far.
Oh, amazing.
But luckily, if you do choose to wear a mask, that'll probably reduce that a bit. So.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, recommend it. It makes you feel better.
Yeah. But yeah, the next thing was going to be talking about what do we think about going out and traveling now, like traveling the world and stuff like that. Obviously, that is still a thing. You can still do it, but obviously, we touched a little bit on this earlier. But what's kind of like your full kind of opinion on it? What do you think's acceptable, not acceptable, that kind of thing?
Well,
do you think what's kind of like your view on it? Do you think it's okay to do it? Do you think it's not okay?
I think if people are happy to take that risk, then if people are happy to take the risk, then that's up to them, I suppose. Like, I mean, there's lots of rural places around the world. I know I'm watching like a lot of YouTubers who do like traveling. They in camper vans and stuff. They actually manage to go around in camper vans and not talk to anyone or meet anyone.
Anyone that comes in, they just squirt them with a water pistol. Get away from them.
And they go to campsites. You can be socially distant there and stuff like that. You can go on the tunnel, the Eurotunnel between England and France. You can drive around there. The amount of people you actually come into contact with is probably much less than if you were to fly abroad and stuff like that. So there are avenues of travelling which don't involve talking to a lot of people. But planes and stuff, it's whether you want to take the risk.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with people travelling, and if that's what they want to do. What about you?
I would say stay in your own region.
Yeah.
If you're in America, travel in America, that's fine. If you're in the UK, stay in the UK, travel to the UK, that's fine. But I think going abroad and stuff is just stupid. I don't think that's necessary right now. I know it's a shame for some people, as you said, like, about and probably other people's situation. That it is annoying because it does disrupt other plans and things. But right now, it's just a safer option, and considering that the R rate is supposedly going back up, not just in the UK or America, but most places, and winter is coming. Just let it
Game of
pass.
Thrones, the White Walker's coming.
Just give it time.
Yeah.
Eventually everything will be fine, but right now, Russia is still working on it, okay? You gotta give it time.
But no one seems to be. It's like it seemed to be mentioned for like 10 minutes on the news and then forgotten about. Like, yeah, Russia's got another vaccine again.
Yeah.
Next joke.
Right. The last thing that I have on random things to talk about is actually something that happened back in 2017. For those of you who aren't aware of it, the band Linkin Park obviously lost their lead vocalist, Chester Bennington. He passed away from suicide. And I wanted to talk about his last interview and kind of some of the stuff. Again, I'll link it down below. It definitely has some things in there that 2020 is hindsight, but definitely watch it because it is something that is very important when it comes to mental health and kind of things. And he touches on a lot of important points, kind of like how being in your own head is like not good. It's a bad place, and even though on the exterior you're happy, it's very much the inner there. I just wanted to bring it up, just simply, not to get into it too much, but just to kind of, check it out, watch it. It's definitely a fascinating talk. He was definitely someone that advocated for mental health, and on this podcast, we do the same. We've both had our experiences with mental health. So, it's definitely an interview to give a watch. If you know anyone that's going through it, there'll be helplines down in the description and stuff as well. I'll put something on screen for the Samaritans. So, yeah.
I imagine it's very frustrating interview to watch, not because you're frustrated at him, you're frustrated at someone who's clearly in pain in their head, and you can't help them now because it's too late. But I do like Linkin Park. I've been lucky enough to see them live once.
Bastard.
But it's just a frustrating situation, especially if you're looking at it from a counsellor's eyes, and you're like, I want to help you.
Yeah, it's strange. It's strange with a little bit of knowledge how far it goes. Probably. Actually, do you know what? The most shocking thing that I found was the video 36 hours before that his wife took of him with his family. He was laughing, joking, but there's something about it when you rewatch it now, and there's like his demeanor. There's something in his face. It just looks a bit off, and you can't quite put your finger on it. Obviously, 36 hours later they knew. But it's impossible. Mental health is a scary thing, man, and absolutely, people should take it more seriously. But yes,
and it affects everyone else with different ways. Like, you don't have to look depressed to be depressed. You don't have to act depressed to be depressed. And
absolutely,
people with severe. I mean, I've never experienced severe clinical depression or something like that, but I've not gone that far. But like, it's kind of strange because everything in your life could be perfect, but the unwelcome visitor comes, and
literally,
you're just completely turned within like a day.
Yeah, it's scary, man. But not to bring a dampener on what has been a very enjoyable episode, but again, if you know anyone that's suffering, just say hello to them, have a conversation with them, have a chat, get them to open up. Talking is not always the way to fix it. It doesn't work for everyone, but it's a good starting point. So, absolutely.
I think the whole lockdown situation has actually helped a lot of, it's kind of helped and hindered. People who've never really experienced any mental health issues, probably it's hindered them. Yeah. But people who are used to dealing with them, it's probably helped them because they feel less guilty. Yeah. And they've everyone's kind of stuck inside, kind of acting how they feel a lot of the time.
I think with COVID, it's definitely brought out a bigger conversation about mental health and stuff. Because obviously everyone is going through this blanket horrible thing that's going on in the world. And yet here we are everyone's going through it, but yet some people are suffering more so than others, maybe, whether they've lost their job because from no fault of their own, just not being able to do it anymore. Whether it's, family members passing away from it or anything like that, everyone is now experiencing it across a wide scale. And I think it's definitely the right time to be talking about it and bringing it up more and having a good conversation about it. But, there'll be information down below. Go and check it out. It's always important to do so. I'll leave the interview with Chester as well down below. It's a very good interview, and he definitely describes it in a very, very down-to-earth and realistic way.
Yeah.
So absolutely go and check that out. But
what must he have been thinking about?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, I've been in that position, admittedly, where I've questioned it, and I have attempted, but it's a very difficult way to describe it, but he does it in such a way that it's human. Very, very human. And it's easy to understand and digest instead of someone like this idiot trying to explain it when you can't.
Yeah, I suppose there's that angle of it as well, but there's also the hindsight angle where people tend to overanalyze things. Maybe he was actually feeling all right that day, but exactly. Could have a light bulb moment went off the next day. But
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But still important issues.
Yes. But not to put a damper on it, today has been a wonderful episode of the podcast, and I hope you have all enjoyed watching myself and Sean discuss some of these topics. Again, if you ever have anything you want us to talk about, chuck us a comment and let us know. I'm not too sure, but maybe next week we'll do a live one. And we will, because I'll be in my house and I'll have all my equipment, so I can do it. It's not going to be a fortnightly thing, I promise. But yeah. So hopefully next week maybe will be a live one. I guess me and Sean will talk about it a bit more and see if we can plan it to work with our schedules or whatever. But if you enjoyed watching it, thank you very much for watching the podcast. And as you always do, supporting us, because a lot of people do surprisingly watch this.
What?
So cheers. It's one of the things that gets the most views on the channel, so thank you very much.
As long as they enjoy it as much as we enjoy doing it.
Yes, exactly. As long as it brings some form of joy to your day, having company of myself and Sean talking and laughing and saying things that may be questionable to some people.
Yes.
But, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone for watching again. Thank you to Sean for joining me. On our podcast. Thank you again, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Any parting words, Sean?
Peace out.
Peace
See you
out,
next time.
dog.
See you next time. Groovy.
Groovy.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity.